All right, welcome everyone to today's webinar, Empower Your Future at Lincoln University, New Zealand. This webinar aims to provide you with all the information you need to make an informed decision about studying at Lincoln University and the opportunities available to you both academically and professionally. I'm Priyanka Amin and I manage admissions and visa operations at Immigration Advisers New Zealand Ltd, and I will be the host for today's webinar. We're extremely excited to have you all join us and we explore the wonderful opportunities which are available at Lincoln University. And we will discuss how you can take the next step toward achieving your educational and your career goals. Before we dive into the main content, I would just like to go over a few housekeeping rules to ensure the smooth running of today's webinar. So we would encourage you to ask questions throughout the session. You can submit your questions in the Q&A box, which will be there at the bottom, and we will address them during the Q&A segment at the end of the webinar. Also, please note that the session is being recorded. So if you miss anything or would like to revisit the content later, you can visit our YouTube page to view the recording. So now as we move ahead, I will just take a moment to introduce our organization, which is Immigration Advisers New Zealand Ltd, and I'll just explain who we are. So if you can see the beautiful building which is there on the left, that's where we are placed. So we are based out of Auckland in New Zealand, and we are a group of 4 licensed immigration advisors. Over the years, we have helped over clients from over 30 different countries, providing them with the expert advice and services who are trying to seek help to study, work, or settle in New Zealand. Our team is supported by a staff from 6 different nationalities, which allows us to provide a more diverse and tailored approach to every client. With over 20 years of experience in the immigration industry, we have built a reputation as the most reviewed licensed immigration advisors in New Zealand. We are also locally present in several countries like Nepal, Sri Lanka, Philippines, Bangladesh, and Middle East, including India. We are committed to offering our clients professional, reliable, and transparent immigration services to ensure a smooth and successful journey to New Zealand. So, before we move to the next slide, if you could just look at the photograph, we are placed right next to the Cordis Hotel. So, you can see our name is listed on the building, which is Immigration Advisors New Zealand Limited, and we sit on the 6th floor. The entire floor is ours. All right. So now I will quickly move to the next slide. And before I get into introducing our speakers, I would just give me a minute over here. Sorry. All right. So now I will just introduce our 2 incredible speakers who are there with us. So first we have Ms. Shweta Mendon, the International Marketing Executive from Lincoln University. Shweta will be walking us through the exciting academic opportunities and benefits of studying at Lincoln University, which is one of the New Zealand's top university known for its focus on practical learning and environment studies. And second, we have our very favorite Ms. Vandana Rai, a senior licensed immigration advisor. Ms. Vandana will be giving us insights into the New Zealand immigration process, focusing on student visa and pathways to residency after completing your studies. And third, we have Ms. Tanuva Bazumdar Bose, another licensed immigration advisor, who will also be joining us for this session. So before I hand over the virtual floor to Ms. Shweta, let me just quickly outline the scope of today's webinar. We aim to showcase the range of postgraduate courses at Lincoln University, including their specialized programs which are designed to help you grow in your chosen field. We will also be educating you about the benefits of studying in New Zealand and why it's an ideal destination for international students. We will provide detailed information on course offerings and application processes so you can navigate the admission process with confidence. We will also discuss your career prospects and residence pathways that open up after completing your studies and how studying in New Zealand can pave the way for your professional future. Besides that, we will be having an interaction through your Q&A session where we will answer any of the questions that you may have regarding your study plans, immigration procedures, or anything else that is related to studying in New Zealand. So we hope that you find today's session informative and insightful. And with further ado, I would like to hand over the virtual stage to Shweta from Lincoln University to talk about how you can empower your future at Lincoln University. So Shweta, over to you whenever you're ready. Should I stop share my screen?
Thanks, Priyanka. Thank you so much for the introduction. And thank you, everyone, to all the panel members who've taken the time out today to organize this session. And thanks to all the students who've joined this session today. And I'm going to try my best to tell you as much as I can about the postgraduate programs at Lincoln University. So let me just try sharing my screen first so that we can just quickly move on to discussing the postgraduate programs that we have and the benefits of these programs, scholarships, intakes, fees, everything. So before I tell you about the programs in detail, let me just give you a quick brief that Lincoln University is a very specialist land-based university established in the 1800s, and it is situated in Christchurch. So Christchurch is the second largest city in New Zealand. We've got great work opportunities and amazing business prospects in New Zealand as well. So coming back to the university, we are traditionally known as the oldest agricultural university in New Zealand. So agriculture, horticulture, winemaking, environmental studies, we are absolutely famous for these programs. But over the years, we've also ventured into fields such as management, finance, fintech, um, sports and recreation, tourism, various other fields of study as well. So our basic faculties, while they seem quite limited, but we specialize in them, and I will take you through those now. Another important feature or something that will encourage you to consider Lincoln University for your further studies is that it's a very student-centric university, wherein the teacher to student ratio is 1:13. You are not likely to find that anywhere else in New Zealand. There's a lot of hand-holding and support which is provided to the students, and there is quite a large Indian community at our campus as well. So these are some of the benefits of joining Lincoln University. Lastly, something which is something that's always important to students in terms of a return on investment or what are their future prospects in New Zealand, is that after you complete your studies at Lincoln University, we have a very dedicated placement cell, and their core task is to help students to help them with their resume making, help them prepare for interviews in the New Zealand job market, and help them getting placed in suitable roles based on the programs that they have completed at the university. So it's quite an end-to-end support that you receive from Lincoln University if you enroll with us. So without taking any more time, I'm mindful of the timeline that we have of this session today. We are going to focus today on our taught masters program. So I'm going to be very specific over here that there is a difference between taught masters and masters by research. We'll focus today on taught masters because these are some of our most popular programs. They have great, outcome or great value after you complete these programs. They cost less, the duration is lower, the benefits are pretty much as good as a master's by research. So when I say taught master's programs, you don't have to submit a research proposal or a thesis along with it. It's a 180 credit program, and basic entry requirement for any of the taught master's programs here at Lincoln University is very simple. We don't ask for things such as GRE, GMAT, work experience, or anything else like that. We don't even ask for letters of recommendation. What we will ask for is your educational history, that is your class 10, 12 certificate and mark sheets, your bachelor's mark sheets and your degree certificate, any kind of English language test that you have taken or not. I will, tell you something else about the English language test as well after I cover the topics, and your passport front and back, and a very simple SOP, statement of purpose. So if you consider this or compare it with some other countries where you wish to apply for master's programs, you will come to know that overall, all universities in New Zealand, including Lincoln, Entry into master's programs is quite simple. It's based on your academics. And when I talk about taught master's programs at Lincoln University, the core things that we keep in mind or the key things that we look at is, so for example, you've completed your bachelor's in a particular field and you want to look for a suitable master's program at Lincoln University. So what my admissions team will look at is your bachelor's last semester percentage. So if it is at least B grade and above, which, in India could be like maybe 65, 70%, that means you will get entry into the program if your background is relevant. However, if it is 75% and above, then you will be eligible for merit scholarship. All the taught master's programs at Lincoln University have a merit scholarship associated with them. The merit scholarship depends on what program that you are picking. It can be either $10,000 or $7,000. I'll explain that to you in a little bit of more detail once I take you through the programs. So these are some of the benefits of picking taught master's programs at Lincoln University. So let's just begin. What you can see here on the screen, basically these are our taught master's programs. And if you look at the subject headings or the program headings, you will understand that they align with the faculties that I told you earlier on. So let's begin by discussing just 4 programs which are very special to Lincoln University in the sense that the 4 programs that I'm about to tell you, any student from any academic background can apply for them. So first is Masters in Applied Computing, wherein student is basically taught about software development and programming languages such as Python and Java. Let me be very clear here that this program does not include things such as cloud computing and cybersecurity and things like that. If you want to take a look at the subject details, exactly what is the course content, I would suggest that please go to the Lincoln University New Zealand website, put the program name in the search option and take a look at the subjects. But basically what it covers is programming language. So one is Masters in Applied Computing. Second program I want to bring your attention to is Masters in Business Finance. It's purely on the finance side, as the name suggests, and is associated with CFA. Next one is a Masters in Business Global Management and Marketing. This one is more like an international MBA where it covers topics such as accounting, finance, management, marketing, and we have a special module on supply chain theory. So it covers basically everything except HR. We don't have HR as a faculty at our university, and it is not included in this business program. And the last one, which comes under the same category or the same umbrella, is Masters in FinTech and Investment Management. This is quite unique to Lincoln University. Not a lot of universities in New Zealand have a program at master's level which is dedicated to FinTech. This program was introduced in 2020 and has gained immense popularity over the years now. Even though I will still say that right now the number 1 spot in this category is still claimed by Masters in Business Global Management and Marketing. And the reason for that is this Masters in Business Global Management and Marketing is such a versatile subject and a versatile program that after completing this program as a student, you are eligible to apply for a wide variety of jobs, which is very crucial if you want to stay back in the country and utilize the post-study work visa or any other further visas after that. However, fintech and investment management has gained popularity because it's very relevant. So what do students learn in something called as fintech and investment management? They would learn topics such as big data, blockchain technology, artificial intelligence, machine learning, crypto assets, research for managers, investment banking, accounting, and finance. So these things are applicable in a wide variety of businesses right now. So if I put it across correctly, it's a combination of tech and finance. So if you have a bit of inclination towards technology, this is something that you should explore. Now, the absolute key thing that I want to bring to everyone's attention for these 4 programs is that you could have done your graduation in any field. It can be art, science, commerce, engineering, psychology, whatever. You can enroll for any of these 4 master's programs. Say, for example, you've done your bachelor's, you've also done a master's degree, and you're still looking for a suitable option. Again, you can pick any of these 4 master's programs. And the reason for that is these are called conversion masters or top-up masters. These will add on to your existing skill set. Whatever you have learned so far, you will learn something new, or you can use this to deviate into a completely different career field. So I'll answer a question here upfront is that students tend to ask, first of all, am I eligible or not? I've already explained that to you. We allow students to enter into these programs. Second question I'll answer upfront is that you may wonder that if I'm not from a particular background and I'm enrolling in a program like this, how will I cope with my studies? So you need to keep in mind that all the taught master's programs at Lincoln University are 3 semesters. So in these 4 programs, in the first semester, we will teach you the basics because we are well aware that you're coming from a different background. We will teach you the basics. And in the second and third semester, we will teach you advanced studies. So there is absolutely no question of you as a student not being able to cope with it. Another thing is that all our master's programs, they come with, as in the examination or the assessment pattern is such that a lot of it will be given to, a lot of credits would be given to projects, assignments, and submissions. So don't worry about clearing your degree. There will not be any difficulty that you would face. There's a lot of handholding and support that you get at Lincoln University. So these 4 programs are designed in such a way that we know that you are not coming from a relevant background. That's the kind of support that you will receive. The same, the same entry requirement is not applicable to other programs. So say, for example, if I have done a BCom and today I get up and decide that I want to do a Master of Science in Food Innovation at Lincoln University because it has great career prospects, I can't do that because I don't come from that relevant background. But as someone who has done like a BCom or a BMS or BSc, engineering, whatever, I can pick those first 4 programs that I told you about. Next thing I want to tell you about those 4 programs is that we have 2 major intakes, Feb and July. If you enroll in Feb or July, you will complete the program in 18 months, 1.5 years. If you enroll in November, we also have a November intake for these 4 programs. Then you will complete the same program with the same credits in 1 year, which is why when you look at this document in front of some programs, you will see the length of the program is 1 or 1.5 academic year. It depends clearly on the intake in which you come. Here I will answer another query upfront. If you are coming for the November intake, there are 2 things which will still remain the same. Your tuition fees will still remain the same. That will not be reduced because it's a tuition fee. Your syllabus will also remain the same. The number of credits that you need to complete will remain the same. There will be no reduction in the portion of your studies. However, how you will be able to complete it successfully without, having any reduction in studies is because when you come in the November intake, you will not get the Christmas break. Your classes will continue throughout the Christmas break. So that's how you complete the entire syllabus, just like anybody else who would join in the Feb or July intake. So there's no reduction in syllabus, there's no reduction in fees. However, answering another query upfront, that even though you enroll in the November intake, which means your program duration is 1 year, it still means that you will get your 3 years post-study work visa. So just to keep things very simple, you pick any taught master's program at Lincoln University. You can complete it in either 1 year or 1.5 year, depending on what intakes are available for that respective program. And whether you complete it in 1 year or 1.5 year, you are still graduating with 180 credits. It is still a master's degree. That means you will get your 3 years post-study work visa. So students who come in the November intake, there are 2 advantages that they get is that one is they are able to finish their degree faster in 1 year and move to the 3 years post-study work visa. And second is they save up on living expenses. Because when you choose to study in New Zealand, there are 2 aspects of funds that you need to keep in mind. One is your tuition fees and second is your living expenses. And living expenses in New Zealand for 1 year is 20,000 New Zealand dollars. So if you're enrolling in the November intake, you only need $20,000. If you enroll in the Feb or July intake, which means your program duration is 1.5 year, you have to factor in 30,000 New Zealand dollars. That's the difference. Moving on to the other programs very quickly. If you are interested in the field of environmental studies, we have two programs, environment and agriculture. Here, I will say that students coming from agricultural background or environmental studies background would be eligible to apply. Environmental policy and management. This program, from the name, it gets a bit tricky. You might think that if I have studied EVS, then I would probably be eligible to apply. To be honest, because it is about policy and management, the kind of background that the university looks at in terms of enrollment would be geography, sociology, law, these kind of backgrounds. So students from such a background will be eligible to apply for environmental policy and management. If you are looking at agricultural programs, obviously, which is our specialty, first of all, to be able to apply for any of these agricultural related programs, you need to ideally come from a BSc agriculture background. So if your qualifications are in that field, you can apply for Master of Management in Agribusiness. You can apply for Masters in Pest Management, especially if you have studied zoology, then you can enroll for this pest management program. Masters in Precision Agriculture. So again, if you are from an agricultural background or if you are from an engineering background, then you can enroll in Masters in Precision Agriculture, because here what the student is required to do is take all of these technological advances and improvements and try and apply them to the field of agriculture to improve agricultural processes in New Zealand. So it's more about application of technology and implementing it to improve agricultural processes. So if you come from a tech background or from an engineering background, you will be an ideal candidate for us for the precision agriculture program, and you will be successful in doing this program. And obviously, the kind of job opportunities that you would get would be very different from what the other students or the other graduates get in New Zealand. So it's a very niche field. The name kind of throws off people. People think precision agriculture, which means it is just agricultural background. Sorry, just give me 1 second. Thank you so much. So, like I said, that Masters in Precision Agriculture can sort of throw you off by the name that only agricultural background is relevant. Students with engineering background or an IT background can also apply. It would be great, actually. Then we have a program called Masters in Professional Accounting CPA. It is an embedded program and in association with CPA Australia. And there are a few entry requirements which one needs to meet before applying to Lincoln University. So the key thing that I want all the potential students to keep in mind is that if you wish to enroll for the Masters in Professional Accounting program at Lincoln University, you need to first apply and obtain an associate membership certificate from CPA Australia. And then you can write to us and then make an application for the professional accounting program, because, like I mentioned, it's an embedded program. Unless you get an associate membership certificate from CPA, we will not be able to issue you an unconditional offer letter. Then we have Master of Science in Food Innovation, which is again one of our most popular programs. It's very unique to Lincoln University. In fact, in New Zealand, out of the 8 universities, only 2 offer programs in food science or food technology or food innovation. One is Lincoln University and another one is Massey University. At Lincoln, we have 2 intakes for this program. And the speciality is that it is a 1 academic year master's program. And this Master of Science Food Innovation program, the students at our university continue to see great outcomes and great success when it comes to job opportunities, is because not only is the program designed in an amazing manner, you have to, they teach you a lot of advanced studies in terms of food innovation and food technology. But what is it that students are looking for? Post-study employability. Now, because we are an agricultural university at heart, we have a lot of industry tie-ups where all of us, students who graduate from the agricultural programs are placed in the food industry. So which is why our placement cell is able to guide you into the right positions when you graduate from this program as well. So where we are situated, that plays to a huge advantage for our students graduating from food science programs. We have two more programs, which is Master of Sports and Recreation Management and Masters in Tourism Management. For sports and recreation management, the thing that you need to keep in mind is your education should be from the sporting background. If it is not, the only alternate for it is that you should have 5 years or more work experience in the field of sports. It's not just playing sports and getting a certificate, relevant work experience or a recognizable educational background in the field of sports. For Masters in Tourism Management, the students who can apply for this program will come from hospitality background, hotel management background, and event management background. So again, say for example, I have only done a BCom in my life. I cannot get up and do this Masters in Tourism Management program because neither is my educational background matching, nor do I have work experience in the field of tourism. But say, for example, I've done a BA or a BCom, but I have like say around 6 or 7 years of relevant work experience in the field of tourism, then I can apply for this Masters in Tourism Management program. And both these programs, again, why they are very popular at Lincoln University is because of the infrastructure, the facilities that we have, and the location where we are situated. It provides a lot of job opportunities to students after graduating from these two programs at our university. If you have had the chance to take a look that the fees for all our programs, they are just in the range of these two numbers. Some of the programs, the tuition fees is 51,000 New Zealand dollars and others have 57,000 New Zealand dollars. To clarify straight over here, so for example, if you pick this program applied computing, whether you come for the 1.5 year program duration intake or for the 1 year duration intake, the fees is 57,000 New Zealand dollars. There is no, this is not a 1 year fee. This is a entire course fee. And when it comes to scholarship, very easy to remember, whichever program has a tuition fees of 57,000 New Zealand dollars, the scholarship is $7,000. And whichever program has a tuition fees of 51,000 New Zealand dollars, the scholarship is $10,000. So if you compare our tuition fees and the merit scholarship to either other universities in New Zealand, outside New Zealand, to various polytechnics in New Zealand, you will come to realize that after the scholarship aspect kicks in, the entire tuition fees really drops down substantially. So it's a very affordable option for you. The scholarship is a good amount which is offered by Lincoln University, and it is very specific to our taught masters programs. We do not extend merit scholarship to masters by research, which is why it becomes a bit more expensive in terms of the investment that you have to make with regards to tuition fees and living expenses and the duration as well. Just last 2 points before I, stop the discussion. We have two more taught masters programs. One is Masters in Planning, which, it teaches you about urban planning, but it's a 2 years master's program and 30,000 New Zealand dollars is the per year fee. Here it's different. And there are two intakes. There is no scholarship for this program because the tuition fees is very low. Last program in taught masters is landscape architecture. So again, for this planning and landscape architecture, students from architecture background are eligible to apply. For this program, we have only one intake. It's 2 academic years and the fees is 34,500 per year and no scholarship. So this is all the information that I had to share when it comes to the taught masters programs. This same document towards the end of it, the last page clearly mentions which programs come under the category of receiving $10,000 scholarship and which programs will receive $7,000 scholarship. So I have already shared this document with the team at Immigration Advisors. They have it, they use it. I'm happy to share it again. And I'm sure they will pass it on to any potential students as well, so that you have a ready reference for you. So yep, that's it from me. I've covered the topics, intakes, fees, scholarship, everything. I will pass it on back to Priyanka, and we can go ahead with the session.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you, Shweta, for such an
No worries.
insightful and comprehensive presentation. We truly appreciate the way you guided us through the reasons why Lincoln University stands out as a choice for students. Especially, you did mention about the 1 to 13 teacher student ratio, which is like, catering to the small class sizes, personalized
Yes.
attention, and
Yeah.
definitely it is a strong point for students seeking a close knit academic environment. So, thank you. All right.
Most welcome.
So, Shweta, if you could please stop share your screen, great. All right. So, moving ahead now, I would like to share my screen again. All right. So, moving ahead now, I would like Ms. Vandana, senior licensed immigration advisor, to speak through the benefits of masters and also give information about partners and dependents visa options. So, Ms. Vandana, over to you.
Thank you so much, Priyanka, and thank you so much, Shweta, for taking out time today. Big thanks to all of you attending. Just before I begin telling the immigration questions and the highlights of a master's course, I would just like to point out here that I see attendees raising hands. So, so if you have a question, we will unfortunately not be able to give you an opportunity to speak. There is a Q&A box, and we would appreciate if you could put your question there, and we would have enough time to answer your questions then. So yeah, over to the highlights for the master's program. So like you have seen a lot of specialized master's program that Lincoln University is offering, and Shweta has given a detailed description of the course, what you can expect to learn, what could be your background. What are the highlights of these masters when it comes to options for them, options for family, and post completion pathways? So, any masters that you do here in New Zealand, and if you study 30 weeks in the country in New Zealand, you would be eligible for a 3-year post study work visa. So that's one thing. If you're doing a PG diploma level 8, then a 1-year post study work visa is what you would be eligible for. The masters, as you have seen, the duration can vary between 1 year to a longer, depending upon when you start and depending upon the whether it's a 120 credit or a 180 credit program as well. Um, Masters of Research offers full-time work rights when somebody is studying. Taught Masters gives you part-time work rights. That means you can study 20, you can, while you're studying, you can work 20 hours a week, and you can work full-time during your scheduled vacations and during your summer vacation. So that is the work rights. So partners, if somebody is doing a master's course, the partners would be eligible for full-time a partner of a student work visa. So on these partner of a student work visa, partners can work for any employer anywhere in New Zealand in any employment, and they can also be self-employed during this period. Dependent children over the age of 5 to year 13 here in New Zealand can study for free. It's called a domestic fee-paying student visa, dependent child student visa, where they are entitled the domestic fee, that is, they study for free. A streamlined pathway to residence. A master's gives you 5 points towards the required 6 points to be eligible for then applying for a student visa. So to be then, sorry, I correct myself, towards 6 points to be then eligible to apply for residence visa. So current residence settings require somebody to have 6 points before they can be eligible to apply. And out of those 6 points, a master's qualification can give you 5 points. The remaining one, you need to gather with your skilled work experience, and a post-study work visa for 3 years gives you enough time to gain 1 year of skilled work experience then. The courses in demand, out of what Lincoln University offers, you got good accounting programs, management programs. So definitely, if this is what interests you, can choose and contact us subsequently. We move to the next slide, giving more details on the options for partners and children then. Priyanka, thank you. What are the options? I'm going in a bit more detail because if a mature person wants to relocate or come and study here in New Zealand, somebody who's married, has kids, so a lot of the decision depends on the options for families as well. So if it's a somebody is doing a master's program, partner of that student will get work rights. That is partner of a student work visa. Similarly, there are some specialized level 7 and 8 qualification. If these are listed on the green list, on Appendix 13, again, partner would have work rights. Partner of a student for any other program, if it's not a master's program or not a qualification which is listed which entitles them work rights, can get a partner of a student visitor visa. So the big thing here is whether the student is studying a level 9, a master's program, or as low as a level 4 qualification, the partners would always have the option to accompany the students or be together with the family. Whether they can apply for a work visa or whether they can apply for a visitor visa would depend upon the course that the student is doing. But family unification, family being one big unit, Immigration New Zealand gives a lot of importance on that, and that gives a lot of respite and confidence to families where when they are thinking of moving with dependents and children. Options for students for their dependent children, they can either apply for a visitor visa or a student visa. A child less than 5 years gets a dependent child visitor visa, and a dependent child from more than 5 years till year 20 can get a dependent child student visa. The important thing to note here is that as a dependent child, they can only study on domestic fees till they are studying in the secondary schools, which we call here in New Zealand as college. That means till year 13. If they eventually have to move in and they are grown up children, they may have to study as international students, but till year 13 here in New Zealand, they can study for free. So I'm saying year 13, that means like a secondary school, like if I say India, that's year 12th class, like 10 plus 2. Or if I say Sri Lanka, it's O levels and A levels. So entire schooling can be done on domestic fee, that is free education for dependent children as well. So over to you, Priyanka, and we'll be happy to answer questions of the attendees thereafter.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Vandana, for detailed explanation about visa options available for partners and dependents. So we have covered a lot of information today, and I'm sure many of you might have some questions. So now we would like to open the floor to any questions you may have, whether it is about the visa options for partners or dependents, or any questions regarding Lincoln University with regards to their courses available, or any other aspect discussed during the session. Please feel free to write your questions on our Q&A box. With that said, I will now start with the first question that we have. All right. So the first question that we have is, hello, I am Pushin. I live in Mauritius, hold an MB and working, I'm assuming that's Masters of Business, and working in the admin department in Mauritius. Would like to know my pathways to immigrate to New Zealand with me and my family. Would a PhD be reliable? My apologies if can't be at the end of, if she's given the question at the end of webinar, since she's currently working. So, Ms. Vandana, I would like to request you if you could answer this question. This is a very specific question, but yeah, if you could just summarize and let her know what option she has.
So I would say because we cannot give a tailored advice here in this session, I would request other attendees. Generic information definitely can. So, but I would take this question and without giving any tailored advice, would still try and answer. So definitely, if you're thinking of coming to New Zealand and thinking of doing a PhD, that offers a pathway. PhD is you could study on domestic fee. However, getting admission in PhD is not that easy. So you should really have interest in research You should be able to find a supervisor who's got similar interest in research, and your research topic should be able to be something that the university wants to work on. So there are a lot of other things that you have to keep in mind. I would say, don't think uh, like PhD as a pathway to migrate. So that's a wrong way to put in. If you have interest in research, if you really want to do PhD, definitely New Zealand has got a lot to offer. So PhD's got very clear pathway after PhD to residence. You get post-study work visa. PhD gives 6 points. In fact, the complete 6 points towards the required 6 points for residence. So a very straight and clear pathway. However, you would still need a skill job offer to be able to apply for residence later on. So, and it's a very specialized program. So even for you to be selected in PhD, so if you really got research interest, and definitely New Zealand has got a lot to offer. Over to you, Priyanka.
Thank you, Ms. Vandana, and thank you, Bhushan, for your question. Very good to see a diverse crowd asking questions. So that's a good thing. All right. So moving to the next question. Do you have Master of Commerce and Management by Research only, 120 credit? What are the other business programs by research for someone with an MBA already? So, Shweta, this question would be for you.
Sure. So basically, if you want to do a master's by research, we have master's by research, which is 240 credits program, and there is a topic called masters in research in commerce and management. But like I said, it is not 120 credits; it will be 240 credits. The duration will be 2 academic years. The tuition fees per year will be 32,500 New Zealand dollars, and we only have two intakes, Feb and July. There will not be any scholarship associated with it. Now, because you've done an MBA already, sorry, just let me go to his question. Yeah. So the student has already done an MBA and is looking for something to do in the research space. Then that's the only other option that I explained to you about. It's a 240 credit program. Otherwise, like I mentioned during my session as well, even if you have done an MBA, you can pick up the TOT Masters program, which is Masters in Business Global Management and Marketing. And you can explore the other options like fintech and investment management that I mentioned to you. But there is no Masters by research with for 120 credits available at us. So I hope that answers your query.
Thank you, Shweta. Right. So moving to the next question, I note that the Masters of Business Finance course offered at Lincoln is approved by the Chartered Financial Analyst University Affiliation Program. Could you explain the steps involved in completing the CFA requirement post completion of the course? So, Shweta, I would leave that question to you.
Yeah, so for this one, I would suggest that please take the email ID of this student, and I would request your team to reach out to me. I will share the details of the CFA program, the course flyer, and all the steps and the details involved, and you can pass it on to the student. And particularly, say, because post completion of this course, that's not an aspect that I deal with. Like I mentioned at the beginning of this program, I take care of the international recruitment. So, particularly if I would like to specify, my job entails to understand what is your educational background and what is the right program and the right fit for you. But I'll share the requested information with the student if the student can get in touch to your team and reach out to me through you.
Excellent. Sure. Thank you. All
No
right. So
problem.
moving to the next one, why it takes longer to get an offer letter from Lincoln University? Yes, Shweta. So this is something
Yeah.
you may want to answer.
I know. Yeah, I'm trying to find that answer for the last 2 years, but just to let you know, it's a small specialist university. We don't have a lot of staff members, even at the university campus as well. The assessment process is very detailed and thorough, is what I would say. You would have noticed that I kept on talking about scholarships and things like that. Everything is assessed automatically. But yes, that's pretty much the reason why it takes time, because we have just one team, one admissions team which sits at the campus in the university, and applications from across the world. So the volumes of applications are very high as compared to the team size that we have. But given that the number of enrollments and the interest towards Lincoln has drastically increased in the last few years, we have taken steps to improve on this side by trying to introduce a new team. So that is something hopefully we will be able to share with all of our recruitment partners also very soon. So today, like nowadays, if you're seeing that a turnaround time is about 4 to 6 weeks, sometimes even longer, fingers crossed, very soon you should be able to see the turnaround between just 4 to 5 working days. So it's going to happen very
Wow.
soon. So requesting you to just bear with us for a little while. Um, Reach out to us if you're really waiting for an offer from Lincoln. It's your priority. Let me know.
Wow, that's definitely a very great, I mean, big transformation. Like you're talking about from 4 to 6 weeks just to getting
Yes,
into 4 to 5
just four
days.
to
That
five days.
yeah, that sounds nice. Thank you, Shweta, for giving that insight.
Okay. Yep.
Sure. So I'll move to the next one. How are your course assessments carried out? Are there written examinations, reports, or group activities? And how many attempts can be made for each assessment?
Yep. So generally, any kind of assessment, as in, the way to complete an entire degree, it consists of projects, assignments, submissions. Your written examinations will obviously be a component of it. It's not 100% on submissions, etc. So all of this, what you've mentioned, are a part of the assessment process. How many attempts can be made for each assessment? It all depends on which program and which faculty. So that is something which the professor will be able to answer when you are enrolled in the program. I am not involved in that aspect of the study work given my current role, so I'm not able to answer that question for you. But I guess, on a safer side, you could assume 2 to 3 attempts, not more than that. It wouldn't go on indefinitely because you have to move along with the rest of the class as well. So again, just to keep it simple, once you get enrolled, or if you, there's another way. Say, for example, if this query is coming from a student who has or decided to enroll into a very specific program at my university, I can share the details of the course advisor or the program head with you. You feel free to write an email to them and ask them about this.
Yeah, that sounds great. Thank you. Thank you,
Sure.
Shweta. Um, so moving to the next question, what educational background is required for business management marketing? You have covered this in
Yes,
one of
absolutely
the
any
previous.
background. You can be from any background, arts, science, commerce, engineering, nursing, psychology, whatever. You can be from any background. Again, you could be a recent graduate as well, or you could have some amount of work experience after your graduation, or you could have done one master's degree after your bachelor's. You can still apply for the master's in business global management and marketing program.
Right. Thank you. So despite having any background, you can definitely opt for this course, but look at the academic requirements as well, the threshold which is there.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, percentage is important. Yeah.
That is correct. Thank you. So moving to the next one, how does Lincoln University support students in networking and connecting with potential employers in the field of study?
Yeah, so this is something I had already covered when I spoke about our placement cell. So we have a very dedicated placement cell, which obviously keeps a record of where our earlier students have been placed. And see, again, this is something which I will, say it in a more informal way. Is that safe? That we have small classroom sizes. Our faculty members are very involved and very invested in the students. Nowadays everyone creates those groups as well, so it's very easy to network and get in touch with the previous pass outs from the university, understand where they have been placed, and they will help you get in touch with the right people in the industry. They will let you know there are openings in their organization, and that's the kind of support that we provide. And one thing, as a student, you can go and check out for yourself is that, see, we don't talk a lot about, rankings, particularly in New Zealand. Internally within New Zealand, it doesn't really matter so much. But still, just to give you an idea, in terms of postgraduate employment, Lincoln University actually stands number one as compared to the other universities in New Zealand because of the kind of dedication and support that they provide. And a lot of the credit I will give to the placement cell and the faculty members.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Shweta.
Yeah.
So the next
Yeah.
one that we have, I think Shweta, we are just going to keep you
Yeah,
busy because I think
I think,
everything is just
yeah, don't
addressing to you.
don't repeat. I'll go through it, no worries.
Right.
If I have only postgraduate diploma in business management
Business
1 year,
management.
higher diploma in accounting and finance 2 years. Why do I have a feeling this actually Sri Lanka? Okay. So masters in professional accounting and also a member of qualified in chartered. Can I apply for master in management? Yep, you can. Absolutely. You can apply for a master's in business global management and marketing. You can also take a shot at applying for the master's in professional accounting CPA program that we discussed about. So you can definitely apply for that. Uh, Entry requirement eligibility will be assessed by my admissions team. If
Thank you.
CPA grants me
I'll
provisional
Yeah,
registration
I'll
basis
just
of
read out
my,
the question so that then
yep,
you would be able to answer that. Yeah,
okay,
so that
sure.
everyone gets to know what the question is. So, if CPA grants me professional registration basis of my previous qualification, how would the MPA course at Lincoln help me further academically? Because in reality, once I'm a professionally registered, I would only be requiring the 3 year mentored work experience thereafter to gain full membership. So, yes, Shweta, over to you.
So to clarify here, when you want to enroll into the MPA program at Lincoln University, you need the provisional associate membership. Okay, you're saying provisional registration. It's called the associate membership certificate from CPA Australia, wherein they assess and understand whether you are eligible to apply for our program or not. So what happens is that that is just an associate membership certificate that you're receiving. What would be covered under CPA will be taught to you by Lincoln University because it's an embedded program. So you do the 1.5 year Masters in Professional Accounting program at Lincoln. At the end of that, you don't have to give any other examination conducted by CPA. That's the whole idea of that embedded program being there in place, that whatever is covered in our course curriculum and you give our examination, you don't have to give any examination conducted by CPA. You're exempt from that. And you're right that at the end of this degree, when you complete this qualification, you will have to apply for the 3 years post-study work visa because you will need 3 years mentored work experience under an accountant in the field of accountancy to gain full membership. So it is exactly that pathway. So if you again, for this particular student, Priyanka, if they are applying, through you guys, or if they've already sent an application, please ask them to send an email to me, keeping you all looped in. I will share a very detailed document with the stepwise instructions and full information and links about the CPA program.
Definitely noted, Shweta. We will definitely do that. Thank you. So moving to the next question, I'm just going to pick and choose questions now because we are running out of time. So the next question someone has asked is about scholarship. Is it given automatically or we need to apply? So Shweta?
Master scholarships are automatically assessed. So it's a very simple process. You submit an application to Lincoln University. There's no application fees. My admissions team will pick up your application. They will look at your bachelor's last semester percentage. If you have done a master's, they will look at your master's last semester percentage. If it meets a certain threshold, you will receive just the offer letter. If it crosses that threshold and meets the criteria for scholarship, along with your offer letter, you will straight away receive the scholarship amount upfront. There is no capping amount that only a set number of students will receive scholarship. There is no first come, first serve or anything. Each and every student who meets the percentage criteria is granted the scholarship upfront. The counselor doesn't have to apply for it. The student does not have to apply for it.
Thank you, Shweta. Um, I will just pick up now last three questions because there are many questions which are still not being answered. But I'll make sure just to utilize the maximum time right now to pick and choose these three. So the next question that I have, ma'am, this one is for you. If a student completes a master's program but has successfully able to find a skill job that is not related to the master's they have completed, will they be still eligible for residency?
Yeah, thank you so much, Priyanka. That's a good question because a lot of students have this query. So if you've done a master's, you can claim 5 points for your master's qualification. And the remaining 1 point that you are claiming for your skilled work experience can be in any field as long as it ticks all the boxes of a skilled work experience. It does not have to be related to the qualification for which you are claiming 5 points. It could be any skilled work experience. If it's meeting the immigration instructions, even if it's not related to your qualification that you're claiming 5 points for, that's okay. Yeah. Thank you. Over to you, Priyanka.
Thank you. And ma'am, one more question to you. So someone has asked in regards to the partner's visa, if the spouse does any undergraduate qualification, which is included on the green list, will the partner get work visa?
So yes, so if the qualification is listed as a required qualification on the green list or a requirement for registration that is on the green list, partners would have the eligibility of applying for a work visa, even though the student partner is studying a bachelor's. But there's a lot of things that have to be seen. So I would say, please do not take this as tailored advice and come back to us with the specific qualification that you are wanting to do, so we can then check and give you a confirmed yes or a no there. Yeah, thanks. Over to you, Priyanka.
Thank you, Shweta. This one is for you. I think this should be the last one that I will pick it up since we are running out of time. So, Shweta, if on the Lincoln University website, it states that students can enroll in thesis only masters. Students enrolling in thesis only masters are required to complete a minimum of 120 credits. Um, so that's what they have mentioned. So I think in one of the earlier conversation, can you see this question?
120 credits.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would suggest that the students send in this query through one of your team members to me, and I will put them through to the course advisor and get back to you then on that one.
Okay, all right. Okay, so with that said, as we have reached towards the end of our webinar, so we would like to conclude our today's webinar. But before we conclude, I see there are many questions that are still not being answered. So please, what we would like to do is we would definitely reach out to you and respond to you. We will connect with all of you who have raised their questions and those questions have not been answered. Also, in case if you feel that there are many other questions that you have and you have not been able to ask it at this point in time, I would request you to please feel free to write to us to our email address, which is contact@nzimmigration.info. That's our email address. And also, I would also like to share our contact details with you so that you can make a note of it and you can write your questions to us. All right. So with that said, as we now conclude today's webinar, I just want to express sincere gratitude to all our speakers for their expertise and the valuable insights that they have given or shared with us. And besides that, to our lovely participants, we hope you found our today's discussion both insightful and valuable. Remember, the conversation doesn't end here. So if you wish to delve deeper into the topics covered, please feel free to reach out to us on our email address, which is listed over here, contact@nzimmigration.info. And just before we leave, I would just like to request our speakers to have or say last few words before we conclude this session. So Shweta, first over to you.
Okay, thank you, Priyanka. I just want to say a huge thank you to the entire team for arranging this webinar. It's a good platform to have such discussion on such queries. And thank you to the rest of your team as well for answering so many of the other questions, especially Vandana handling the tricky ones when it comes to immigration. So and again, huge thanks to all the students who decided to show up today. It was great being here, and I look forward to any other session that you would want to organize again in the future. So thank you so much.
Excellent. Thank you, Shweta. Likewise. Thank you. Ms. Vandana, over to you.
Thank you so much, Shweta. Really appreciate your taking out time. We do see a lot of interest in the courses that Lincoln offers, and we are also aware to all the attendees that we've not been able to answer your questions. So we really make an endeavor to ensure that we answer your questions and your interest in studying at Lincoln would be taken forward. So thank you so much.
All right. So thank you, Ms. Vandana. So we look forward to reconnecting with each one of you now in the future webinars and events. Until then, take care, stay safe, and goodbye.